We looked at creating posts on the front end. Now we're going to have a look at allowing users to register to create the post. So when the user arrives on the page to create the post, you'll see that you need to be an author to submit a post. We're now going to create a form that they can use to register in order to post their details. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the custom field section on the website, and we're going to go to forms. We're now going to add a new form, and we're going to call this form author registration. And we're not going to select a field group. We're going to add an action, which is going to be a user action. And it's going to be to create the user. With that in place, we're going to publish. And without doing anything else, we're going to insert this shortcode into our website, and let's have a look and see what happens. So we'll go over to create a post, and we'll then head over to Oxygen and edit with Oxygen, because this is only going to apply to users that are logged out, and we've already created that condition. Oxygen is loaded. Let's open up our structure window, have a look at the section, and we're going to scroll down here until we get to the section here where you need to be an author to submit a post, and we're going to insert the shortcode for that form registration in this section. So let's just open that on our structure panel. We're then going to implement under the WordPress section a shortcode wrapper. We'll give that a width of 100%. And we're going to give that size and spacing of 15 pixels. And inside that, we're going to add the shortcode for the form. There we have the shortcode, and we're going to save. And then we're going to have a look at that on the front end of the website. And what you'll notice is that I'm logged in, so there's nothing to see. Here in a different browser, I've implemented the shortcode, and you'll see it only shows submit. So what we need to do now is go and set up some fields and map those user fields so that we can use them in our form. So to do that, we head over to our field group, and we're going to add a new field group, and that's going to be called the author registration. And here we'll create the fields and match them to that form. To match the field names, we can use the field group that we created inside the form that we have inside the ACF extended plugin, and we can use that as a guide to what fields we need. So we know we need an email, a username, and a password. So let's get started. And in this case, we'll select email. Then we'll add the username. And leave that as a text field, and the password. So there we have the basic fields that we need to create the user. We have his email, username, and a password. But we would like a few more fields. So if we carry on, we see we can do a first name, a last name, and a nickname. So let's add those as well. So first name, last name. And if we wanted to, we could add a nickname. Then we have the display name, if they belong to a website, and there's also a description and a role. So let's add a field called author bio, and we'll use that as the description, and let's make that a text area. And we'll update the field group. Right, now we can head back to our form and we can refresh the page. And now what we can do is we can assign a field group. So we'll assign the author registration, and you'll see now that the author registration fields have still not been integrated. So by hitting save or update, that field group is now included in our form, and you'll see at the bottom. So we'll toggle all of those because we want values saved to all of those fields. So the email, we will now link to the author email, the username to author username, password to the password, first name to first name, last name to last name. We didn't enter anything under nickname or display name or website, and we did do description, which would be the bio for the author. And here's where we can save the role. So because this is the person gaining access to the website for the first time, we don't necessarily want to make them an author without vetting that they are in fact an author. So what we'll do is we're going to make the first level of membership a subscriber. And then what we're going to do is update. Now that we've included the field group with our form, we can have a look and see what that form looks like on the front end. So before, when we created the form, we only had a submit button. Now when we refresh, you'll see that we have a lot more information. So let's just clean up the formatting on that page. So here we are inside our custom, inside our submit post content block. And what we'll do is we'll go to the shortcode wrapper and we're going to give that a color, a background color of white. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to that shortcode and just make sure that the size of that shortcode has a width of 100%. We'll save that. And now when we refresh our registration page, you'll see that we have a form that fills the whole screen, and we of course want to change the text from white to let's say a darker color. So what we'll do is we'll head over to typography and let's change the color to the darker blue. We'll save. And now when we update our form, you'll see that we have much clearer labels for our form. So that is the front-end user form. Now what we would like to do, of course, is send an email to the admin to say that a new user has registered. So in order to do that, we're here on our author registration form, and we're now going to add an action, and that action is an email action. And this is going to be the registration email, and it's the author registration email notification. And now what we do is we head over to email. And what we want to do when it comes to the values, for example, the name of the person or their email address as the from email address, is we want to get the values of the form fields that are entered before they get submitted to the database. As the values are not available in the database, we would have to collect them from the actual form that the user completes. So in order to do that, we'll head over to the cheat sheet, and the very first item available to us is field, retrieve user input from the current form. So this is the format that we're going to use, field : my field, replacing my field with my field names. We can copy that and scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see that you have a list here of the field labels, and here you have a list of the field names that we can use. So we're going to use these field names in our form. So back to the top of the page, head over to General. So on our author registration form, scroll down, and here in the From section, we're going to follow this form for the name, space, and the same format for the email address. So the first one that we enter here is going to be author _ first _ name. And here we'll enter author email. So we know that those are that's the correct format, and we'll paste that in the reply to as well. So here in the reply to, author first name, author email. And 2, we know that the email has to go to this email address to administer the applications. And here where we have the subject, we'll say new author application, a dash, and then we'll just put in the first name of the author. And then here we can include all the values, and to include all the values, see that there is a note here that says all fields may be included using fields. So we'll copy that and we'll say author details, and we'll include all those details over here. With those settings in place, just give it a quick last check. Right, then let's save this form and let's head over to the website and place the application. So I'm just going to refresh the page, and then here we can enter the author's email. So let's go with that email address and a username, any name, password. Then we have an author first name, so we'll go with author first, author last, and then a description. And then we'll submit the application. Right, so the application has been submitted. Let's have a look at the email. So we've received an email here, new author application, author first, and those are the details. And if I reply to this email, you'll see that the same information is used in terms of the email address to do the reply. And if I then go and have a look at the information in the database under that user, you will see that I have the same information here. And if I open up the user's details, you'll see that the user has been added as a subscriber, author first, author last. The nickname was any name. The username is the same as the nickname. Display name publicly, author first, author last, and then the contact info, the email address, and that's the email that was entered. So now we know that the form is being submitted, the subscriber is created, and the email is sent to the administrator to say that the application has been received. We're now going to look at adding an email that will be sent to the user just to confirm that the application has been received. To do that, we head over to our custom fields and we go back to our forms, and we're going to add a new form. or we can head over to author registration. And what we can do here is we can add another action, another email action. So we'll go add action. Let's go to email action. And we're going to call this author registration user notification. So this is the email that'll go to the user. And we're going to use pretty much a lot of what we've used in the previous one. So what we'll do is we'll head over to the email there, and we'll open up the email here, and we'll copy across some of that information. The difference though is, in this case, the from address is going to be different to the to address. So in this case, the to address is going to be to the field author. Right, so now we're changing that to the author email, and the from name now becomes the name of the website, and the email address, the to address here, becomes the from address. So here what we're going to do now is put in, let's call this the tutorial website for argument's sake, and in there we put the email address that it's going to be sent from, and the reply to is the same as the from. So we've entered that information. The subject here is author registration submission confirmation, and here we can add dear, and now what we can do is insert their first name. So we'll go dear field author first name, and thank you for your application. We'll be in touch to confirm some summary of information submitted is included below, and in that is included below, and there we're going to use the same display all fields in the field section. So there you have it, and at the bottom we can insert regards the website team. So now we have the email that will be sent to the user when the form is submitted, just to say thank you for your application. So let's update that, and then we're going to head back to the website to see how that looks on the front end. So here we are on the front end of the site, and we're now going to submit the application, and this time we'll check that the email goes through to the user applying. So in this case, we're going to use a legitimate email address. And the username will be Joe, password, author first name Joe, last name blogs and bio. Scroll down and we'll submit those details. The form submitted, let's have a look and see what that looks like. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the email that we sent to the user. And here it is here. And you can see we registered Joe Blogs and it says, Dear Joe, thank you for your application. And here is all of Joe's information. So the email did fire to Joe, and if he replies, we can reply to all. You'll see that it does reply to the tutorial website, and there is the information. So we know that that is working. If we have a look at the admin email received, so here we have the administration email, new author application from Joe, and here are Joe's details. And then if we go and have a look in the website user section, we see that Joe has registered here. And if I open up Joe, there we have the details for Joe. So now we can approve Joe's membership simply by heading over here to role and changing the subscriber to author if Joe is qualified to be an author. In this part of the tutorial, we're going to create a login page. To do that, we'll head over to Pages, and we're going to add a new page. And the new page name will be Login, and we'll publish that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the login component. So add block, type in the word login. And we're going to install this code block. So this will install the login form. So let's update that. And we're just going to head over to plugins so you can just see what happened there. And you'll see that the TWST login block was added as a plugin. Now we'll head back to the page and just update some settings on that page. Back to login. And what we're going to do is, with the block selected on the right hand side, change the login form setting. So when logged in behavior, change that to just the logout link. So now when somebody is logged in and they go to that page, instead of seeing nothing, they will see the logout link. So if I navigate there now, I will see the logout link. And if I'm logged out, you'll see that I can now see the login link. So what I'm going to do now is log in as Joe. And you'll see that I will log in. And once logged in, you can see the normal dashboard black bar that we get from WordPress. So I can now go into the dashboard. As you can see, I can't add or edit any posts. And also on the front end of the website, I can only view posts, but I can't edit. So what I'm going to do now is change the user permissions. So we head back to our user section. And I'm now going to edit Joe, and I'm going to take him from just being a subscriber. He's now qualified as an author. We'll update Joe's settings. Now when we look at Joe's profile and we refresh, you'll see that I can now, as Joe, create a post. If I go to custom posts and I click on a post and I scroll down, I can now edit the post. Right, so there we have the details completed. And now what I'm going to do is head over to the admin section. And here you'll see now that I can go to custom posts and I can add new. But maybe I don't want to let Joe see this part of the website. I just want Joe to interact with the front end of the site. So if he wants to add a post, he can go to create a post and create the post there. So let's restrict Joe's access to the website to only being on the front end of the website. So to do that, we head back to our plugins and we're going to install a new plugin. To hide the dashboard access, we will install remove dashboard access. This will prevent the user from accessing the dashboard from the front end of the website. And then we're going to install a second plugin, which is hide admin bar, so that the admin bar at the top of the page is also not visible to the user. And that plugin is called hide admin bar. So here we will activate the two plugins. Now we'll head over to hide admin bar from the plugin, from the front end, and then also remove dashboard access. So dashboard access, we'll head over to settings and we'll say that dashboard user access is for administrators only. We'll save those changes and then we'll head over to hide admin bar, and here hide admin bar for selected user roles, and we'll say that it's hidden. Then we'll save the changes. And now we can go and have a look and see how that works on the website. So here I am logged in, and if I refresh now, the admin bar should go away and I only have front-end access. So I can log out. And when I log in again, you will see that I can only work from the front end of the website. That wraps up the tutorial on creating a front-end user registration form, which then allows the notification to go through to the administrator, who can then approve the membership of the person. And then when that person logs in after having been approved as an author, they are then only able to access the front end of the website to then submit posts and to edit posts. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Thank you for watching.